All right, class. First off, as always, good day. I'm glad you're here. So, as you can see, we are starting a new section. We finished off the French Revolution, basically uh, how life was before the French Revolution, what happened during and after, okay, ending with Napoleon and some of that. Now we're going to look at imperialism, basically when countries around the world basically said, I'm going to own this land. Problem is, somebody already owned that land. That was already somebody's territory, but bigger countries, more powerful country, basically thought, I need to own that. It's mine. I claim it. Okay. So we're going to analyze the significance of the French and British joining the Crimean War. We're going to examine the benefits and problems of two or more states unifying to form one country. And we're going to create an argument on whether Russia would have attacked Britain or France if they had controlled the Mediterranean Sea. Okay. Now, here is your warm up picture. Now, on your worksheet, if you look right below the question where it's asking you to identify each country, um, I give you the list of the countries. So you got like France and Germany, Japan, China, Russia, England. Okay. Now, here's the thing, some of these, like a lot of people in class, were just like, I don't know. How am I supposed to know who's who? Well, there's little clues that can help you out. Like, of those countries, which one do you know for a fact has a king or queen? Of those countries, France, England, Germany, uh, China, Japan, Russia, which one do you know for a fact? There's no doubt in your mind that you know they have and always have had a king or queen. And then look, which of those people has like a crown? Okay. Um, and then just look at little, there are clues. Okay. There are little clues around colors that the people wear and things like that. Little things they have on them or with them, gives you clues to who they are. Okay. So that's all you got to do for number one, two, three. If you notice, I forgot five. I know this happened last year. I totally forgot to put five. That's why on your worksheet too, it says one, two, three, four, six, seven. Because again, I forgot to put the five. So my bad. Okay. So that's all you got to do for the warm up. Which of these number one, two, three, four, six, seven, which one is Japan? Which one's China? Which one is Russia? Which one is Germany? Which one's England? Which one's France? That's all you got to do. Okay. So pause the video, take your time, and write down. Make an educated guess. Okay. So we're moving on in three, two, one. So the Crimean War. This was a war between Russia and the Ottoman Empire. So here's the thing, the war going on right now between Russia and Ukraine, it actually goes back to this time, believe it or not. Okay. Russia was basically doing the same thing now like they were doing back then. They were basically trying to take over a lot of territory. But the thing is, at this time, back at this time right here, the Ottoman Empire was basically stationed in Turkey. That was their main like place, and they were a very powerful, very very powerful nation. Okay, problem is though, like a lot of powerful countries back in the day, they don't remain powerful forever, and they start to lose some of their strength and some of their power. So once they looked invincible, now after several defeats and different wars and things like that against smaller countries and things like that, they don't seem as tough and as big, you know. So that was one of the things. Um, Now the thing is, the reason why Russia wanted Crimea, which is if you um, look at that top picture, the one where it says not orange, in purple. Sorry, sorry about that. You'll see a little circle saying Crimea right there. They wanted that area because that was a great port place. And a port is where a ship can be made and load, they can put it into the water. And the thing is, that is warm water territory. Okay. And that uh, water, it connects to the Mediterranean Sea. Okay. Uh, and that's the thing that they wanted. They wanted to sail to the Black Sea, to the from the Black Sea to the Mediterranean, and then from the Mediterranean they can go anywhere else they wanted. Now, why were they so concerned about warm waters? Because you have to remember, up on top, if you look at that purple area, along the border is all land, 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 land. And the only other place where they get to water, like the ocean, is in the very top, top, top north. And at that top of the world, you guys may or may not know, it's very cold. It's very, very cold. And that's where a lot of glaciers are formed and things like that. So Russia lost a lot of ships because they would see like a chunk of ice and like, okay, it's a chunk of ice. But really underneath it's a ton of ice and it would hit the hull of ships and then the ship would sink, you know. So they were like, yeah, we don't want to keep losing ships. We need to get to warmer waters where we can launch ships out and these ships that can then go wherever. Now, to Russia, that sounds like a great plan, great for them. Problem is, countries like Britain and France knew if Russia was able to get ships out into the warm waters and then go anywhere they wanted, they could be a very powerful country. So then they didn't want that. Okay. So they kind of kept their eye on this, like what's going on between Russia and the Ottoman Empire. Okay. And the other thing too, why they chose now at this time to go against the Ottoman Empire is because, again, like I said, the Ottoman Empire was very weak. And like I told the students in class, if there was somebody you really didn't like, would you rather face them, fight them face to face when they're rested, they're energetic, they're pumped and ready to go, or when they're tired, they're beaten up, when would you rather face them? And your answer should be when they're tired, exhausted, beat up, things like that. Okay? Because then you have a really good, really great chance of beating them. And like one student said in class, yeah, they may not even want to fight. Exactly. They may even just be like, you know what, fine, whatever you want, take it. You know? So you got something without even fighting. Okay? So in 1853, Russia invaded the Turkish towns of Moldavia and Wallachia. Like I told the students in class, I know Moldavia is still around to this day. Wallachia, I'm not sure, to be honest. I haven't taken the time to look it up on Google or anything like that. But I know for a fact Moldavia is still around to this day. Okay. Now, the Ottoman Turks declared war on Russia once they invaded those two areas. And for about a good year, they're fighting back and forth, back and forth. Things are going on, right? Britain and France, they're still living their lives, but they're keeping an eye on what's going on with this Crimean War. And it just so happens that the war is starting to lean more towards a Russian victory. So Britain and France basically said, you know what, let's team up and fight the Russians. We can't let them win. Okay. Now you have to remember, Britain and France have veteran soldiers. These guys have been fighting in different wars around the countries, around the world. So these guys are trained. They're ready to fight and things like that. So when they get there, they're like, "What in the world is going on?" Because thing is, the war is going badly. You know, most times when people go to war, there's structure, you know, generals, lieutenants, captain, and things like that, all the way down. There's a battle plan, there's tactics and things like that. And it's kind of like that's what they're expecting. The French and British, they're expecting, order and like, okay, what's your strategy? How are you guys going to defeat the Russians, and how are the Russians defeating you? And it's just chaos. They're just like everyone's just going off fighting. Oh, take cannons. Oh, just attack here. And they're like, what is going on? There's no structure. There's no nothing. It's just like a bunch of people just fighting each other. You know. So when they step in, they bring order. They show the Turkish people, the Ottoman people, how to truly fight, civilize, and how to use tactics in war, use the terrain to help you, how hills and mountains and the ocean and seas and rivers and lakes can help you. How can you use that to your advantage in war? um and they end up defeating the Russians. Okay, so Russia lost a lot of people, and then they were basically like, you know what, let's call it. Okay, we want peace. So the Treaty of Paris was signed in March 1856. And basically, in the treaty, it said that Moldavia and Wallachia were under the protection of the great powers, which was France and Britain. So, like I said in class, just imagine if you, you know, were being attacked by a bully, and basically the United States government said, we're going to have a handful of so, army men and a handful of Marines on standby. So whenever you need them, those guys are ready to protect you. How safe would you feel? You know, how safe would you feel just to be able to know that you can call in a heartbeat, and those guys would be there in a heartbeat to protect you? You might feel pretty safe, right? Same thing with Moldavia and Wallachia. They knew if something happened, if Russia tried to attack them again or something like that, or even thought about it, they can call Britain and France and be like, "You guys, we need you guys over here," and that they would be there in a heartbeat. Now, not everything was hunky dory either for not just Russia and the Ottoman Empire, but another country too that wasn't mentioned, Austria. Austria is a country between Russia, Germany, and the Ottoman Empire. Okay. And the thing is, they refused to help the Russians. They were kind of cool with the Russians a little bit. And Russia basically told them, hey, look at, um, let us go through your territory because we want to attack the Ottoman Empire, but we want to attack them from behind where they're not expecting that. Okay? So let us go through your territory. We'll come around behind them and we'll attack them, and that will help us win this war. Austria said no. Okay? So a great example I have is like I told students in class, if you have two friends who are fighting and they tell you pick a side, you're kind of like, what? I'm not picking a side. You know, that's basically what Austria was told. Pick a side, be with us. And they're like, no, no, we get along with the Ottoman Empire, we get along with you, and we're not going to help one side over the other. Because then they're going to know, hey, we helped you out. We let you come through our territory to attack them. So no. Now, once the treaty was signed, Russia felt this huge humiliation. They felt like the whole world was laughing at them. And some countries were actually kind of laughing at them. So for like 20 years, they kind of stayed in their own country, took care of themselves, licked their own wounds. Um, they kept away from anything going on with Europe. But they did say, however, Austria and Russia are now enemies. They basically told Austria, Don't ask us for anything. If you ever need help from us, we will not give it to you. We will give it to your enemy, but we will not help you. They were pretty upset. So keep that in the back of your head because it's going to come up in the next couple weeks. Now, while all this is going on, a couple countries in Europe wanted to unify, meaning they wanted to come together and form one powerful country. And those two countries were Italy and Germany. Okay. In Italy, there were a bunch of city states. So basically, it's like a country, but they're basically little chunks of like a city that's big enough to take care of themselves as if they were their own country. So the Piedmonts were one of the groups. The Italian kingdom was another. The Vatican was another. Okay. And they wanted to basically get all these city states together and form one giant Italian country. Okay. Because they felt, we're all the same. We're all Italians, you know. So we should unify. Same thing within Germany. There were other city states, but the two big ones was the Prussians and the North German Confederate. Okay. Now, Italy did unify. Okay. But Germany really didn't go too well. Because the thing is, um, the North German Confederate, they wanted to unify with Prussia in 1848 and 1849. They tried their hardest, but they couldn't because again, Prussia was pretty strong. They could take care of themselves. They didn't need anybody. And they knew they couldn't be forced to join if they didn't want to. Okay. Now, Prussia's government was very militaristic. They thought about war constantly. They had schools where they would teach young men how to fight, about military tactics, how to use, like we talked about, the terrain and some of that, how to fight with that. What's the best way to fight when you're in sand or you're near the ocean? Um, what type of weapons are best when to fight at nighttime and things like that. So they taught these guys stuff like that at schools. Okay. Now the King of Prussia, William the First, wanted to make the army larger. Okay. The problem is their Congress, the legislature, was like, why? We're not going to war with anybody. We're not at war with anybody. We don't plan on going to war with anybody. So why make the army huge? So that dude right there you see in that picture, that is Otto von Bismarck. Okay. He was appointed the new prime minister of Germany, or sorry, Prussia. Um, Now the thing is, most countries they have very famous generals. You know, here in the United States we have people like George Washington, um, General Grant, uh, General Eisenhower, Colin Powell, things like that. We've had some great military leaders in Prussia and in Germany history. He is one of the top guys. Okay. Now, thing is, he realized that politics needed to look at things in real life and not as well. If in a theoretically, if we do this, then this will happen, or even ethically. So, like I gave the example in class, uh, this is ethical question. Would you, in order to save 5,000 people, random people, you had to kill a 5-year-old kid? Would you do it? Now, there were some students who said, "No, no, you can't, I can't, I couldn't do it." Some students said, "Yeah, heck yeah, I'd kill that kid, save 5,000 people, sure." Then and to, ask those people this next question. So now let's say that 5-year-old kid is somebody in your family. That's like your little brother, little cousin, somebody you know that's related to you, would you kill them to save 5,000 random people? And this is where they were like, do I get along with them? Like, no, no, no. There's none of that. Would you kill them? Yes or no? And this is where they were kind of, kind of debating it. And this is where Bismarck would say, no matter what it was, no, kill him. You need your one person for 5,000. No, you kill that one person, and that's what he's saying. There's no theories or ethical stuff when it comes to real life stuff. You need to make hard decisions, and yeah, it might suck, but it was the right decision to make. Now, this guy basically told the legislature people, you know what? I want to build new schools. I want to build new hospitals. I want to have money to help the poor. So the Congress people, the legislature said, okay, yeah, here's all this money. And he went around and spent all that money on armies, getting new soldiers, training them, housing them, feeding them, buying equipment, weapons. And when the legislature is like, hey, where's the schools? Where's the hospitals? Where's all this money going to poor? He's like, oh yeah, I spent that on the military. And they'd be like, well, give us the money back. Too late, spent it already. So he didn't care, you know. Now the other thing too is that he and William the First knew the reason why these other German countries, city states, wanted to join with Prussia was because not to really unify Germany or for freedom and things like that. It's because Prussia was powerful. And they knew these guys just want to team up with us because we're powerful. We bring a lot to the table, they bring nothing. So, how do we benefit from this? We don't. So, why do it? So, that was um, one of the things that Bismarck and William the First knew. Yeah, we're probably not going to join with them because we get nothing out of this deal. Now, here's my question to you, which is one of my favorite to ask students. Um, what do you think is more important in a fight? A strong offense or a strong defense? Okay. Now, some students in the class are trying to ask me, like, well, what about the person you're facing against? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. To you, what is strong? What is best to have? A strong offense or a strong defense in a fight? Okay. Which one? Not, both of them. No, that's not an acceptable answer. Okay. You have to pick one. Which one is more important? Okay. And they're writing prompts right there to help you out. I believe a strong offense, defense is more important because, and explain why. Okay. So if you put both, you are going to lose points. You're not going to get, you know, any points for this question because I'm asking you which one is more important. So pick one. Don't put both. Don't try to justify it. Well, this one and this one because and this one. No. Okay. Again, you'll be wasting your time. You will get no points because I'm asking you to pick one. Okay. Once you've answered this question, you're done with this lesson. Now, before you stop the video and some of that, um, take the next 3 seconds to fold your paper back to the front and check to see if your name is on it. Last semester, a lot of students who were doing these worksheets, um, they did the work, answered the questions, did the notes, but they forgot to put their name on the paper. And the thing is, if there's a lot of you guys who do this work watching these videos. And I can't remember who watched the video, who didn't. I can't remember who was in class and who picked up the this packet and did the work at home or on Fridays. I can't remember. I have over 200 students. Okay. So you just take the next 30 seconds, look to see if your name's on it. If it is, awesome. If it's not, write it down. Okay. So, with that being said, you guys, you take care, you be safe, and I'll see you guys later. Okay.